Hello everyone who is watching the channel. Today, we would like to invite you to follow one of the most primitive and harsh fishing journeys that still exists in the modern technological era. The journey of hunting giant squid by Japanese fishermen, with bare hands. Handmade fishing lines, and cold iron hooks, no supporting machines, no modern electronic systems, only calloused hands, experience at sea and an indomitable spirit before nature. Before the sun rose, the rustic boats of Japanese fishermen had already cut the waves and left the dock, heading far out to sea, where the deep sea is home to giant squid weighing up to tens of kilograms. Each boat had only a few men, no one talked much. No need for noisy machinery. They quietly prepared long fishing lines wrapped around their hands. Each large hook was washed clean, tied securely, and placed neatly on the deck. Without modern navigation. They rely only on ocean currents, water color, wind movement, and experienced eyes to determine where giant squids often appear. Fishing lines tens of meters long are dropped down one by one, each line a few meters apart. Iron hooks are tied with fish bait that has just been caught, still yawning in the water to create life. Live bait is a vital factor, because giant squids are extremely clever. They are not easily fooled by inanimate objects. Just a few minutes after dropping the bait, the still water begins to move slightly. A line suddenly vibrates slightly as if touched by an invisible hand. The fishermen react immediately. They do not pull up quickly, but hold the line taut, feeling each movement. If it is a large squid, the pulling force will gradually increase, very heavy, very strong, like a mass of water is parting the current. And then suddenly, they jerk hard. A giant squid has bitten the hook. Immediately, the fishing line is stretched so much that the person's hand is bleeding. The tugs were relentless, as if the underwater creature was frantically resisting. It did not jump up like a fish, nor struggle like an octopus, but used the weight of its body to rotate underwater, pulling it back down to the bottom of the sea. The fishermen had to hold the rope tightly, wrap it around their hands or even tie it around their bodies to create a counterweight. Each time they pulled the rope, their whole bodies shook. They were not only pulling the giant sea creature, but also fighting the gravity of the ocean itself. A few minutes later, a huge black shadow began to appear under the water, nearly 2 meters long, with a dark indigo body, long, wriggling tentacles wrapped around the rope. It had not surrendered yet. When it came to the surface, it sprayed a stream of coal black ink all around. Covering the wooden floor, but then, with one last tug, it was brought aboard. The fishy smell was strong. The sound of the squid's body hitting the wooden floor sounded like a war drum in the middle of the ocean. The first one was a good start, but the fishermen did not stop. They cast the line again, hooked a new bait, and prepared for the next battle. And so it went, one giant squid after another. One man, one fishing line, one bait. This cruel cycle continued for hours, under the blazing sun or sudden rains. The sea was unforgiving, and the men never gave up. As the number of squids began to increase, the deck became crowded. A temporary on-site processing team was set up. After being caught, the squids were cleaned, put into cold tanks, and separated into separate parts. The large tentacles were kept intact, and the bodies were cut into long slices for processing. Blood and squid mixed together, creating a chaotic color on the wooden floor, but no one paid any attention. They kept pulling until their arms were tired, their backs were sweaty, and the afternoon sun began to flicker. Not every day was lucky. Some days, they only caught a few small ones. Some days, the waves are so big that the fishing line breaks repeatedly. Once, the giant squid jerked so hard that the fisherman was dragged across the deck. Blood and squid stained his shirt. But they still come back, every day, because this is the job, the source of livelihood, and the pride of a generation of fishermen in the Japanese Sea. When the ship docks, each box of fresh squid is transferred to the port. The giant squid that once struggled offshore now lie quietly in iceboxes, preparing for the next journey to restaurants, processing plants, or even export to distant countries. Each squid not only has economic value, but is also a symbol of indomitable spirit, of persistent labor, and the tradition of sticking to the sea for generations. Today, in the age of industrialization, there are still people who retain that rusticity, catching by hand, fishing each squid in the midst of strong winds and waves. As a way to affirm, people are still the masters of the sea, with sweat, blood, and determination. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next journeys, where people face nature directly. Not with technology, but with their own hearts and hands.